Check. 1, 2, 3.
The D.
Brief.
This is the D Brief.
Go. Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome to the Debrief. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
I'm Becky Scarcello.
And I am excited about today's episode.
I'm so excited. So we've just been crazy for this. Yeah.
So I am a hip hop fan.
Me too. You know it.
But I am not from Detroit. I have only been here for about 3 years.
And it kind of shows a little bit.
It shows a lot.
Yeah.
So I watched this documentary, The Untold Story of Detroit Hip Hop. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And it goes through the names that you know when you expect the Kid
J
Rock,
Dilla, Eminem,
the ICP, Eminem, all those. But it also goes through all of the roots, and it's absolutely amazing. So we have the guy who put this film together. He's a legendary rapper here in Detroit in his own right, Champtown, the founder of Straight Jacket Records.
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for finding me. It means a lot when someone do their research and honor you with a invite. That means a lot to me.
We're just glad you said yes.
Yeah, I know. I got to tell you, and I was saying this before we even started recording, as I'm watching the documentary, I'm literally stopping it every 10 minutes and going to Wikipedia and looking up the videos and all this stuff, and really because you just go through so many names, and I want to know more about that person. I want to know more about this person.
And this needed to be made.
Yes,
it really needed to be made, because as a hip hop fan, for myself, I had to figure out a lot of this stuff on my own, and I'm a white girl from downriver. It wasn't always easy,
Right.
It asks a lot of people a lot of stuff, because in Detroit, we don't celebrate it. We haven't really told it. There's a lot of unheard voices, I think.
Yeah, it is.
I love that you made this film.
I mean, that is one of the themes of the documentary, is this idea that Detroit needs to do a better job of sort of hanging together and celebrating and building its community as a whole.
Yeah, but in the early day, when we first started this hip hop thing, it was like that. Everybody loved each other. The Awesome Dre's, the Detroit Most Wanted, the Smileys, myself. Me and Esham had a falling out, and everybody kind of stayed, mutual between that. They didn't, take sides of that, because we were best friends that had a falling out. But everybody basically stuck together back then.
Talk about Chuck D narrating this, because, I grew up a big Public Enemy fan, and so to have him in a project like this, that's awesome.
I've been a blessed individual. I have 3 mentors in my life. Ice-T. And you can imagine what kind of education you get from a guy like that. The pimp player, the hustler, high roller, the dead Preds folder. Then you got the guy that fights the power by the name of Chuck D. Been a mentor of mine ever since I've been a 18, 19-year-old kid. I've been on world tours with these guys. I opened up tours with these guys. And then my mentor from afar that accepted me when I was 17 years old and told me I could record at his place for the rest of my life for free was Prince. So to have those type of mentors, you're pretty much well-rounded in everything. I'm the person that connected Chuck D with Prince. Because of me, they have a friendship. So, those are my mentors, and I've learned a lot from those guys.
I can imagine.
When I was thinking about doing this documentary, my mentor Ice-T was doing a documentary called The Art of Rap. And for some reason, Detroit was kind of left out, except for Eminem. And it seemed like it was starting to happen a lot. Detroit hip-hop always started with Eminem for the last 10 years. And I'm like, I don't get this. We've been doing this 20 years before. When he was still in Kansas City somewhere, we were doing this, I gave him love. I took him in and stuff like that. But what about all the other people that really, really paid their hardcore dues in this? So I just thought to take responsibility to don't let the legacy go like that. Of course, Eminem's one of the greatest wordsmiths in the history of rap music. But what about Awesome Dre? What about Detroit Most Wanted? What about AWOL? What about myself? What about Esham? What about all these other guys that, we really, really had to go through hell to even get played on the radio? So I just figured that someone needs to at least speak up for these guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Tell the story.
Can we back up? Because the documentary starts with the migration of African Americans up to the city of Detroit.
Very important. So you can understand the attitude of a Detroit rapper. Very important.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it moves into Motown. And talk about what Motown meant for hip hop here?
Well, Motown, I'm going to break this down for Motown. First of all, you have Proof, R.I.P. There was Eminem's hype man that passed away for a very unfortunate situation, and he died. You know, his father is a Motown musician still to this day. He plays for the Four Tops or the Spinners or whatever. He's always been a Motown musician. J Dilla, father, also was a Motown musician. So you have Motown embedded in Proof. You have Motown embedded in J Dilla. So that's just to give you a good reference of how the Motown and the Detroit hip hop scene runs, because J Dilla and Proof were like top runners in this game, without any question. This is what you have to be very, very aware of. Motown ran the music industry for like 2 decades, black music wise.
Absolutely.
So before hip hop, anything, you had Marvin Gaye, Smokey, Jackson's, you had Diana Ross. I mean, we can go on and on naming these names, Commodores, Lionel Richie. They ran and controlled what black music sound like, what black music looked like. So when this thing called hip hop is birthed in New York, and labels like Sugar Hill Records and all of them look, and once New York started really going good with the hip hop, I don't think they wanted to hand that back to Motown. It's like, you guys have dominated for 20 years and good luck.
It's our turn.
We're running the door. And I think New York always had a real, selfish attitude toward hip hop. Not all the artists, because I always made friends with a lot of the artists early on in my career that come to Detroit. They know, like a Eric B., he would come to Detroit. He would hang with Champtown when he was a kid. They know it was this little kid named Champtown rapping. And I made a lot of friends doing that. That's how I met Ice-T. That's how I met Chuck D. The word gets out because there's only a handful of people doing things at that time. So a lot of the New Yorkers had the attitude that they run rap. You're not good as New York if you're not from New York. And that type of attitude that allowed the West Coast to get some, and the West Coast ended up selling a lot more records than them. And then the South end up basically running hip hop now because I think of the closed-minded attitude, But there was some smart New York artists like Fat Joe and others that did records with Lil Wayne and collaborated with the South. And, Chuck Chill Out, that's in a documentary. He always played Detroit records on the air in New York, So it was people that was like, because they know what Motown meant to them. Right. And if there's some rappers coming out of Motown, we're going to play them. And that's the connection with Chuck D. A lot of people ask, why would you have Chuck D narrated? He's not from Detroit. Well, first, Chuck D's grandparents are here. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Chuck D loves Motown. For second, Chuck D's a very smart person. He knew the politics of the New York rap game because Public Enemy broke out of Philly first, not even in their hometown.
Oh, okay.
They broke out of Philly, so they know. So when he's coming here, and there's no more Motown left, there's no labels here. What do you go get a deal at? There's no, what record label is going to sign you? You have to make your own label.
Yep.
That's why Esham made his label. I made my label. 80% of these Detroit rappers made their own record labels. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no labels here. So with the labels being gone and Chuck D being a smart person he is, and he hears an awesome Dre coming out of Detroit, the first thing he do is say, I'm going to take this kid on tour with me. So Awesome Dre gets to tour with Public Enemy because Chuck D looks at hip hop as a worldwide thing.
Right.
You can be from anywhere. If you're good, you should come get some of this on his tour. And that's what Chuck D has always done. Same with MC Breed, R.I.P. that passed away. He put him on his first tour. Chuck D put me on my first tour. He always looked out for the underdog, which is in Detroit, because my man Ant Live, a Detroiter that still tours with Public Enemy off and on. He had to deal with Next Plateau back in the early day. He's on the documentary. He's a Skeletor, one of his alter egos. So these guys, Chuck D blessed a lot of us and knew that you're not going to get a record deal probably, or it's going to be 4 times harder to get a record deal out of Detroit. But the least I can do is take you around the world and let people know who you are.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask about some of the people who appear in the documentary, or that you talk about in the documentary? Going back even before hip hop started, DJ Robin Seymour.
Robin Seymour. That was an incredible interview for me. I wanted to make sure I covered Motown some kind of way. And I really, really put my thinking cap on. You know, getting Berry Gordy would have been real good, but I wondered, what could I do better than that? And what can you do better than put the person that put Berry Gordy on? Mm-hmm.
On the radio. Yeah.
A white guy that put Berry Gordy in the game. And you know what? There's a cross to that. What I wanted to also let people know, that it's about love. This whole thing's about love. Robin Seymour gave Berry Gordy love by showing him publishing companies and showing him the game and being the first white disc jockey to play Motown records.
Yeah.
Now, when this hip hop thing was going on in Detroit in the mid 90s, real heavy, a lot of my friends, unfortunately, became drug dealers. Mm-hmm. Some of my best friends became professional hitmen for hire. They were a crew called the Best Friends that was on Gangland. Unfortunately, they are responsible for over 140 murders. So that's what their focus was on. My focus was on music, and we were friends. So due to the fact that the guys in my neighborhood wanted to do what they were doing, and I wanted to do the rap music thing, it was the white boys from the suburbs that wanted to do it with us as well.
Right.
So I vouched for Kid Rock to come in our neighborhood. I vouched for Eminem to come in our neighborhood. When I did that, it was against the law. Like, what are you doing with those white guys? Like, well, what is this? And it's like, I'm breaking ground here. Like, you guys want to shoot and kill and do all that? This is what I'm doing. Right. And if these guys want to come over here with me, you're going to leave them alone. And they say, they're going to come, they're going to use you up, and they're going to leave, and they're not going to come back, and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, myself, the black man, you know, we really open our hearts to allow it. You know what I'm saying? Even Esham working with ICP, the black man working with Kid Rock, and myself working very closely with Eminem and Kid Rock, you know, because we saw a brighter future. We saw something bigger. We saw something better. And, you know, the race thing wasn't really a factor to what we were trying to do.
Will you talk about those early days with Eminem? I mean...
Oh, yeah. What you need to know? Tell me, ask me anything.
Well, let's talk about where you guys met, how the career started, because he was on your label for, 5 years?
Yeah, close to 5 years. Eminem, I met through one of my best friends at the time named Shortcut. Shortcut was this, like, 4th degree black belt. And he taught karate classes by day, but he was a dancer at night, you know, jump up in there, do the splits, you know, crazy dance moves or whatever like that. So I met Shortcut. I guess I was doing a show at Rob Bass in Canada. And Shortcut was going nuts on the dance floor. Me and him just clicked, and me and Shortcut became friends first. You know, he had the drop top Mustang before Vanilla Ice had it, you know, and we just would drive these clubs and just hang out, and he wanted to rap. He wasn't the greatest rapper, but he had something that was very unique. It was like, he's better than 90% of the rappers out right now, because all those guys are garbage, basically. But back then, you had to have skills to rap with Rakim and LL and Big Daddy Kane. But Shortcut just had something. He just had this obnoxious funniness about him. So I went in the studio and started producing Shortcut. But Shortcut kept it real. He was like, man, it's this white crew. It's like 4 white guys, man. They are incredible. You got to meet these guys called Basement Production. I've been hanging with them over the last year, you know. So I met the producer Mannix first. And then Mannix started producing my record. And then that's how I met Eminem, through Mannix. And that's how I met Chaos Kid that, you know, recently committed suicide, you know, RIP to him. And Basement Productions was the crew. They were the New Jacks first. But it was Eminem, Chaos Kid, Mannix, and his twin brother with no fingers called Butterfingers. And they were Basement Productions. And I took them in as we started doing little shows together, stuff like that. I put them on my label, and that was that. Yeah, nice. It was good times, you know.
Now, how long had you been rapping when you started your label?
Well, I've been rapping since I was 8 years old.
So a while.
We talking,
yeah, a long time.
We talking 82, 83, you know. Me and Esham was, you know, and you know, to be honest with you, as you see, if you watch the documentary, I didn't really cover myself.
No, you didn't. I had a lot of questions about you.
No, you're gonna get them solved soon.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, what's the
but
background?
I didn't cover myself because, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I tried to do the impossible. I tried to make the documentary and didn't feature me one time in it. And everybody was like, there's no way you can do anything on Detroit hip hop without you being in it. I was like, what mention me? I'm not going to get in the camera.
Right.
You know, I'm the director, my first director. I took this directing thing serious. You know, I took the directing job serious. I'm like, I'm a director. I'm not an artist today. I'm directing my first film. I'm not getting in the camera, you know?
Right.
And they were like laughing at me like, you're going to end up having to get in the camera.
Right.
And I did. But, you know, as you see, it wasn't like, this is all about me. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't at all.
It wasn't like that at all because I tried not to get in the camera.
That was one of the things that amazed me watching it because, you know, it's very objective in the way that it portrays everything. But at the same time, like
you were in it.
And you've had beefs over the years with
all these
some important people in the scene. And yet you were kind of even-handed in the film.
Hip-hop is competitive.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't really have a beef, you might not be good.
Right.
Because Awesome Dre had a beef with AWOL, and Detroit Most Wanted had a beef with this guy, and I had a beef with Esham, I had a beef with ICP, but yeah.
Now, this is the first movie you've made.
First movie I made.
Okay, and so...
First movie.
how long did this take you?
About 5 years.
Yeah, I would imagine.
The funny thing about it is I told Chuck D, when I called him, I just knew that, first of all, if I was going to do a documentary, I had to have a good narrator. The narrator had to be super good dope. And I think Chuck D just has that voice for the people. He always have. But I said to myself, Chuck D don't do the narration, I probably won't do it. So let's start here. Let's see what God got for me.
That was what was amazing about it. You've got early footage of Eminem. You've got early footage of Kid Rock. You've got early footage of these big names. You talk about the rewriting of history, of Detroit history. There's another film that I think did a lot of that. And you actually address it in the documentary, which is 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Well, 8 Mile, to be honest with you, is Eminem acting like me through the whole movie. I was the leader of the crew. Eminem was Cheddar Bob. You know, Five Ella was hanging around me with Proof. That was Proof first group. He was with Five Ella. Eminem would be Cheddar Bob in that situation, Chaos Kid, whatever. I was the leader of the crew. I was the one that they followed behind. You know, when they covered the paint gun incident in the movie, you know, that happened. But what happened was, it was my paint gun. You know, we were going around shooting hookers and crackheads for fun. It was like a Monday night game we played. Like, we're going to drive up and down Woodward and grass shit. You only shoot hookers, only shoot crackheads, because God wants these streets clean. You know, we're not going to shoot innocent people. We're going to shoot hookers and crackheads only. So we did this successfully for like 3 weeks.
Are you making this into a video game soon?
Maybe so.
I think I have your new idea.
So we did this for 3 weeks successfully, and I would win every week. I had good aim. I shoot across the room, right to the head. Ping! You know, red paint. They think they really shot. People fainting, falling out. It's hilarious. So Proof got mad, and he saw some Wayne State students rollerblade. They're not hookers. They're not crackheads. They're Wayne State students. Proof jumped out and just started shooting them close range. I'm like, this game over now. It's over. And it was over. Wayne State cops, Detroit cops, state troopers, Highland Park cops, just all these cops just closed us in, put us on the ground. They thought it was Eminem because he was the only white guy with us. So cops just really beat him up bad. They beat Eminem up, and then they took us all to jail. You know, and they couldn't figure out what charge to charge us with. Like felonious assault, attempt murder. They couldn't do it. And what the funny part was, the crackheads had to pick us out in the lineup. And some of them were so high, they couldn't remember us and all that.
Right.
So they had to drop the charges eventually and stuff like that.
You mentioned Proof. For people who may not be familiar with him, can you talk a little bit about
story.
Proof?
Yeah, Proof was Eminem hype man. Proof was a kid that used to be in the crowds watching me and Esham destroy people. He wasn't really a rapper when we first started doing it. I used to see him all the time. Then years later, I ran into him when he was hyping for Eminem and Basement Productions or whatever like that. And, you know, Proof was always good. Me and Proof was extremely close. Me and Proof's mother was extremely close as well. You know, because I was always a little older than myself. So when I'm 19, I was really 34, you know, and me and Proof mother identified real well with each other. We were always close. Proof was a great MC, one of Detroit's best MCs. I just think that no one can prepare themselves for the type of success that Marshall Mathers encountered.
I imagine, yeah.
And the way that happened, it was like a whirlwind, and it's so sad because it's just big companies like Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, the Bass Brothers, whoever was all into that. Those are the people that really benefited out of all that. You know, Proof didn't really have what he should have. Not trying to put him out here like he was poor, he was this, he was that. Proof should have been a multi-millionaire in that situation, and he wasn't. You know, I just hate to hear how Proof died. And yeah, before Proof died, me and him had a vicious rap war. We did, because I thought he went a little bit too far. I'm in the Source magazine taking his slack, not putting him out there. I just told the truth. I was like, look, I don't like Paul Rosenberg, what he's doing, because Proof would call me with these stories about how they would do a big show overseas and they would let the money sit in the bank for like a month or so before they would pay him. Like they would let the money collect some interest. So when they pay Proof, it's like they're not missing the money. And it's like, what the hell? You don't get your money right then when you get done rocking 100,000 people? Like, what's going on? So it was one time Proof wanted me to get Suge Knight to get him off of his deal. Like, he wanted me to help him get D12 off of Shady Records, you know? I didn't go that far on the documentary. I could have. It might be on the DVD. Who knows?
The director's cut.
But I'm just saying that, you know, that's one thing. But then again, it's another thing. Like, maybe I should have minded my own business. Maybe I shouldn't have wrote for Proof in the magazine. You know, I'm thinking I'm helping a friend out. And then he comes back and disses me. And I'm like, whoa, I'm taking up for you and you diss me. So I had to come hard with the diss album on him. I had to.
I mean, it wasn't just a track. It was a whole...
It was the whole album.
I had no choice, you know, because he's that good of a rapper.
Right.
I'm not going to even allow an inch of defeat for myself.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it long and I've never lost a rap battle. So I'm not going to lose it against Proof. Someone I actually mentored, someone that was a student of mine. I'm not going to let no student beat me on a mic. There's no way that's going to happen, you know? Right. So it's unfortunate though, because the good thing is me and Proof made friends before he passed away.
Oh, I was going to ask that. Did you ever make up?
Yeah, we were at the State Theater and we was with Kid Rock and my wife. And Kid Rock was like nervous because he knew it was about to be some serious street stuff going on. Proof saw me, I saw him. Proof got on his phone, I got on my phone, and we was about to see what the results was about to be outside of that State Theater that night. And, you know, my wife kind of went up to Proof like, what's your problem? You know? And she brought him down to reality. Like that, like, oh man, I don't, you know, and they got to talking, and then Kid Rock came, and he kind of helped piece it together with her, and me and him just went off in a corner, man, and just talked for like an hour and a half, and that was it.
Should there be more of that? I mean, you know, on the one hand, I used to love, you know, because I remember the LL Cool J, Kool Moe Dee feud.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and look, I think we all thought it got taken too far when you start getting to Biggie and Tupac, and you know.
Absolutely.
And now,
what it is the cheerleaders get involved.
Yeah.
It's the people, you know, that was probably backing Proof, you know, behind Proof, like, yeah, we gonna kill him, we gonna get that, we gonna beat Champtown down, we gonna stump him, we gonna, yeah. And it's like, come on, man, we both MCs. We supposed to just keep doing this back and forth on the mic.
1-to-1.
Right.
Yep. Can we talk about J Dilla a little bit?
J Dilla, I knew him through Proof. Me and him became pretty cool, very cool actually. J Dilla used to get his inspiration sitting at the strip clubs. And he would call me, and I would go meet him at the grind, and we would either talk business or talk about records. And he looked at me as a big brother because of Proof, you know, giving me the love, telling him about how business savvy I was. So whenever he get into a contract with Q-Tip or whoever it be, he would ask me what I think. I think Dilla eventually hated the industry. He only liked it a couple rappers like Busta Rhymes and maybe De La Soul. He just really didn't like the industry. He just really started disliking the industry. But J Dilla, he also did a lot for Five Ella, Mud and Thyme, Proof. That was his first group, Five Ella, where Proof was in. He's just a great producer. Like I say, his father was a Motown musician. His uncle owned Dilla Delights downtown.
Right, the donuts.
I just did something for Cream TV where I interviewed him. that should be coming on Netflix in the next couple months or whatever like that. And it was great. It's just great to see the legacy of what the Dilla Donut album meant to the uncle, because the uncle used to bring him the donuts, and then before he passed away, that was like his shout to his uncle.
Yeah.
Remembering the donuts. It's deep. I would never imagine Dilla would have died that young. I would have never imagined Proof would have died that young.
No.
It's just devastating.
It is. You have these thoughts like, what could they have made?
Yeah, Dilla would have definitely went down, and he would probably still go down as one of the greatest producers in hip-hop music ever. His mother is such a great person, man. Oh, she's just a wonderful person. Those are tremendous big losses in Detroit hip-hop.
Definitely.
To lose Proof and Dilla. And a lot of people, like I say, a lot of people didn't know that me and Proof, we were cool before he passed away. That's why I was probably like, I'll never make another diss record again, because I just feel it just puts the way it is now. It ain't like the Cool Mo D and LL beefs no more. When you go dissing now, you go for the juggler, man, and it just brings so much negative energy out, man.
Do you think that just comes from maturity, just getting older, getting wiser, just not going to do that?
I don't know about that, because that's one side of me saying that, but then there's the MC in me saying that if someone gets out of line, I'm gonna come back and bust their ass. I mean, it's
be
like,
relevant,
But now I'm a filmmaker. Now I'm doing other things now. So it's just beefs. Rap beef used to be cool when we used to do it. You take somebody out, they lose, that's the end of it. But that Biggie and Tupac made it all weird. Yeah. I think they made it all weird.
Next level,
I mean, it's like a martial art, right? Like you can tap out when
exactly
and it's
when
a
you're
sport
done.
when you're going against each other, and it doesn't. But to that end, talk about the role that battle raps played in.
I mean, that's basically how I made a name and everything for myself. Me and Esham was 10-year-old, 11-year-old kids going to middle school, Von Steuben Middle School, our 6th grade year. So we went over to Osborne High School and got fake IDs. So we battled everybody in middle school and we battled everybody in high school. And we were undefeated, and we battled hundreds of people. So battle rap is how I came up. That's rapping Champtown, later on Champtown, first rapping champ. I mean, the name fit. You can't beat them, And that's when it was real freestyles. That's when it was
top of the dome, as they say.
Right now you just go. You ain't no writing, or you got stuff you had for 5 albums ago and you squeeze them into a line, and when it was real and when it wasn't real. And now it's all fake. No one's really rapping off the top of their head too often. Out of 100, maybe 4.
Wow. Yeah.
It's so killed art for me. I don't do it no more because I know it ain't real. When I done it, my legacy stays, and everyone, the hundreds and thousands of people that witnessed it, they knew it was real.
Well, it's like every time you went out, you were up in your game. It would just keep you challenged, keep you going. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And keep in mind, you're a 10-year-old kid, and
crazy.
I'm battling 20-year-olds. I'm battling 25-year-olds. I mean, me and Esham was battling.
I want to see that footage.
Yeah, we were going. We were knocking each other down, and it was. I just think the worst thing in my career is the fallout of me and Esham. That should have never happened.
So talk about that. What happened?
Yeah.
Egos, man. Egos. I mean, Esham was like, he was a rapper, but he was more powerful at the time as a beatboxer. So when I met him, he was in a crew called the Def Art Crew, which was his brother and his cousin. I was in a crew called the Beat Boys, which was Rapping Romeo, Shiny D, and myself. But I was the best in my crew. Esham was the best in his crew. Well, that was the summer of leaving 5th grade, going to the 6th grade. By the time we're going into the
early.
I know.
By the time we're going into the 6th grade, it's only right that Champtown and Esham formed.
Yeah.
We never said we were an official group. Esham was beatboxing, I was the rapper, and of course the rapper's going to get more girls liking him. They're going to get more famous.
The lead singer.
But I always looked at it like it's equal here.
Right.
I can't beatbox and do all this noise making. This guy was good as Dougie Fresh at 10 years old. I mean, human beatbox, he could go against any of those guys. And it's like, this guy's doing something I can't do. I never looked at it like that, but the girls liked the rapper.
Yeah.
They thought he was the young LL or the young Run or whatever. They liked that. So I didn't know. It just seemed like eventually Esham got sick of the second fiddle. She's like, do my own stuff. He started writing hardcore. Then some stuff escalated with one of my friends, got into a fight with his brother. His brother flipped the story, had Esham thinking that we jumped him, and it was really a one-on-one fight, and there you go. They go to fighting, they go to beefing, they go to 20 years of nonsense. And I mean, it was, me and Esham was at war. We was at war.
And then what happened? What's it like now?
Just grew up. Boys to men. Boys to men. You know, and I think you realize how dumb it was. I mean,
sure.
I think when I came back, I got his number, and I told him I want you to be in a documentary, and he pulled right up.
Oh, so, okay. Yeah.
The documentary did a lot of things for me. Making this
in terms of mending relationships.
I mean,
just
I was always
personally.
cool with everybody. I never really had beef until over the, the Esham was my only beef I really had in hip hop.
Right.
I'm outspoken, so a lot of people don't like when I just say what I feel. Some people get offended. I'm sorry, but say how you feel one day, and you can feel better when you go to sleep at night, instead of not. I never really had beef. The Esham beef went on for 20 years. That was one of the main beefs. The ICP one, that happened because I thought they were trying to steal my image. I was Straight Jacket Records. They became Psychopathic Records. I had a Joker hat. They had a clown with a Joker hat. I'm like, wait a minute. These guys is trying to steal my whole everything. But I had a group partner at the time that he really wouldn't have stirred that ICP beef up. We were in the studio with Mike Clark, and ICP had a bunch of they posters on the wall, and he went and X'd them out in marker and wrote on it. And so I had to inherit what he started, my old group partner. I had to kind of live up to the beef with him. But I think looking back at it and talking to ICP, they were probably really just giving me mad love, giving love.
The imitation is sincere for flattery.
I mean, me and ICP could have made millions of dollars together, But, you're young, you're high-headed. You got to realize I'm a 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid. I'm hanging around 20-year-olds. I have no curfew. I'm the best rapper in the city on the east side. I'm never losing. Every female in the neighborhood wants me. I mean, that's ego. That's mad ego, out of control at a young age. It probably took me to like 19-ish to kind of figure like, whoa, I'll be calming this down. This ego can be an animal. Like, whoa, you know.
All right, champ, you ready to play a little game?
Yeah, whatever.
All right, here we go.
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite Motown song of all time?
Probably Baby Love.
Yeah?
It just sounds so cute. Baby love. Baby love. It's just so cute.
It is.
Baby Love is just so cute.
Nice.
Baby Love.
How about who's the Detroiter whose name everyone should know but doesn't?
Champtown.
Why didn't I see that coming?
Where's your favorite place to perform over the years?
Here in Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Joe Louis Arena.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Touched that stage a few times.
How about best place when you're raising these dollars to take people in Detroit for a business lunch? Where would you go?
Man, I just went to a place Saturday, and I'm gonna go back tomorrow. What's the name of that place? Is it chili, mustard, and onions?
Yes, yeah.
That's what
the vegan conies.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Big Mac. That was incredible. Oh man. See, my wife's a vegetarian. She hasn't ate meat in like 18 years or so. So I'm always eating her stuff, but I still eat the other stuff too.
Okay.
But I'm kind of leaning toward that because that stuff is good and you feel different. You don't feel heavy. You don't feel it's a good move to make. You talk to me 6 months from now, I might fully go that route.
Wow.
Nice.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Champtown, the documentary is the untold story of Detroit hip hop. People can find it on Amazon Prime. You've got some other things that you're working on right now.
Yeah.
Projects as well, right?
Yeah, the Itis. You can see that on YouTube now. The pilot episode with Cool Keith. It's my wife cooking show. The Itis, and it's spelled ITIS. Z because you get sleepy after you eat. Nice.
I do.
And so we're gearing up to shoot the first season of that. And me and Ice-T have something real big in the works right now. And I'll just hit around to you might end up getting a full life story of Champtown through that.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. And
Nice.
congratulations on the documentary film.
I appreciate that.
I learned a lot doing it. Watching it.
And I want to thank you guys, because this is the great thing. I never met you guys. This is not politics. This ain't who knows who. This is you watched the documentary and you felt I needed to be on here.
Well, that's how we say it. Another way we say it is Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.